Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. All right. Welcome to TDD.Academy. I'm your host, Lancer Kind, and let's see, who else do we have out there? Do we have, oh, there he is, solopreneur David Kuntz. He is still out there somewhere with a frozen camera, vacationing, calling in on the show. Pardon me a second, I'm checking out the chat, seeing if anybody's chatting on LinkedIn. And I don't see anybody chatting, so that's good, or that's fine. Oh, wow, how does the chat work in LinkedIn? How do I tap that button? So I gotta play with this toy here. Hit enter. Chat should post, right? And let's post somewhere. Anyways, I don't know how the LinkedIn chat works, but I can see it over here. So if you chat me, I will respond if I notice. There's no notification. It's over here. It's not over here where I can see you. Anyways, hey, for fun, if you're after this live stream and you're tired of listening to me talk about Kotlin and writing apps for Android, you can go check out the foundation. We're talking about the foundation on Sci-Fi Thoughts. URL is sci-fi-thoughts.space. On Agile Thoughts, we did a show. We have a show live out there about Canton coders. So if you're a developer who likes to develop on Kotlin, or likes to develop on Android or any other kind of platform, Canton Coders is a good home for you. You can go hang out with one of my favorite people in the world, Joel Norman, and see how that group is formed. They meet virtually. They have mock programming sessions, and they have talks, and they do lots of networking. So hey, if you're a good developer and if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for skills, Canton Coders is the place to go. All right, well, now let's go back to what we were doing on this show, and I am remembering myself. We got ourselves in a couple things here. Last show, I wanted to adjust the position of the cursor, so that when the user starts editing, it will insert in the right spot. So we need to continue along that frame and see if we can solve that problem one way or another. And I'm getting something, my IDE wants something from me. That's weird. Saying like, hey, how satisfied with this product? I am somewhat satisfied. I find myself yearning for the days of Eclipse because I find the what's it called, the Java doc that pops up. I don't know what they call it. Maybe they call it Kotlin doc. It doesn't pop up well. I still have to go Google things on the internet when I'm looking at API docs. Anyways, let's get into it. So I'm just looking at our episode notes. All watcher methods will try to re-enter the event methods when changing text. Yes. Why is that in? Oh, that's right. Yeah, episode. Oh, watcher methods. Apparently, I had a question thinking it wouldn't, but that sure as heck seems like the case to me. Not shocked. Okay, interface. David, if you could help me out sometime, I would love for you to summarize what we've learned in a visual graph. So I know you're out there on vacation, but you have a laptop too, and you know how to use it. So maybe you, and if you're hanging out with Taylor, can get me something that shows the big picture on doing test automation with views. Because what we've learned in this show is interfaces are important when you need them, and you use them to allow yourself to communicate from your code that needs to communicate with that nasty, nasty little view object and send it signals. And those signals have a positive result, we hope. And now for unit testing, what that means is we have to spy and see if the right signals are sent. It's basically a type of contract. Our contract is with the view object that it will honor the interface, do the right thing. And so now our unit testing is purely at checking, did we do the steps in the contract? Okay, and if the contract isn't implemented right on the view object, we will still get screwed up. Our unit test will only tell us if we're using the contract right. So I need a visual that shows that, because really what we've been doing in this show is defining what we can do in the unit test, learning what we can't, and then negotiating what that contract is. Okay. So last show we put that interface back in because we realized, oh, I can't keep working through the editable object. I need to actually talk to the view object. So I put it back in. The other thing I learned, what else did I learn here? Interface for value. Wow, that's a big hoo-ha. Interface foo, fun. So this is a writable interface object. Apparently that was interesting. Yeah, it is interesting because Kotlin syntax is different than what I'm used to. But constructor with arguments. Wow, apparently I had difficulty with that last week. Isn't a class field, which, sorry, I'm reading docs on the show here. Wow, that's a long one. Oh, there's no reference. Okay. Yeah, again, this is another Kotlin syntax thing, is that if you do this, you are just passing something in for the constructor, but you're not actually making it referable. When you declare it with a var or a val, you're making up members of the class. And you can make private members of the class apparently too, which is just kind of strange, but hey, whatever. Whenever I use an interface, oh, this is pretty important. We don't want to use the same name. So when we go back and talk about our interface, we ran into a bug at the end of the show last week. And the weird thing is that it caused infinite loops. Because if my interface name, if my view object is implementing an interface so that my watcher can talk to it in this contractual way, if those interfaces are overriding the same interfaces with the same names in the view object, it don't like that because, well, it's doing different things in its interfaces than what I want it to do. Okay? So the key learning from that is don't give them the same name. So come up with a different way. All right, so I fixed this off camera. I went into that interface named what? Field axis. I'm not in love with that name either. And notice I have, oh my goodness, I gotta get my camera on the screen here. There we are. So I was in this interface, whoops, and I can't just use set selection, but I could say I have to add something else. So I like to say the thing that it's supposed to do. And then its target is the text edit. All right. Maybe we'll come up with a better way. This is really generic too. Really, I would like to say maybe SSN or just text edit access. This is really text edit. I don't know. So I'm having huge arguments with myself over it. I don't love any of these names. So I'd love to get it better. But good news is this naming pattern's easy. Like, hey, this is what I'd like to call on the SSN field, but I can't because that's a view object and I can't couple myself tightly to it. So I've got this interface to decouple it. But as I also said, I can't use that name in my interface because I'm going to screw up everything. So I just put in the thing I'm connecting to. In this case, I put text edit. Maybe I should have put SSN field, but then, wow, we have all kinds of redundancy. We have SSN field up here. I bet a few more episodes, what will emerge is an even better name and a better metaphor for this, because we're defining some cool metaphors here. You're gonna have to write a blog article or a Medium article out, pulling all this together, I think. But the pattern is, yes, right now, set selection, get current color. Now, I don't think I care about selection. Well, wait a minute. So I'm good with this naming pattern. I'm asking myself, do I have what I need to move the cursor? Let's just run the app and remind ourselves what this thing did, because it's been a while and I've done some work. In fact, I better see if I have to undo some work in here, because I've been doing experiments, folks. I've been working on colors too. And what do we got here? See this learn to set colors function? That's now commented out. So I got to comment it out. All right. So we can focus on what we want to do, which is get the cursor where it belongs after I type in 1 and it puts the mask in. All right. So we're going to run all the tests just so you know there's nothing up my tiny little sleeves here other than farmer's tan, it looks like. Can developers have farmer's tans? I don't know. Maybe back in the day, farmers didn't wear shirts since they had much better tans. Instantiating tests. I just launched the app, so it's running a little bit pokey. Wow. Come on, baby. Let's close some of these. I want to do that update sometime later. Wow. I wonder why my computer seems a little laggy today. Oh, we've got Carbonite doing stuff. Hang on a second, folks. Sorry, we're going to shut that down. Carbonite, great product, lousy UI, and look how long I have to wait. Just slow. Slow as the bejeebus. As the bejesus, I mean. So let's pause that, baby. And I wish there was a way to pause it just for like an hour or a day, because I don't want to pause forever. Okay, so Carbonite. Got to have that off site backup working. All right, everything else looks reasonable. Okay, so anyways, we got a set of tests, and the test, we don't have a failing test case. User enters 2 digits, and what we want is to have da-da-da-da. And that test is passing. Let's go see if it passes when the app launches, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure I can't type in 2 digits because the cursor position isn't in there. And you see I was fiddling around with color too. So you'll have to ignore, you have to pardon the mess. Okay. Launching. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Okay. So we want to fix this problem. And we're probably going to need that interface that we've been talking about. All right, so here's the problem. I hit a 1. Look where my cursor is. Cursor's at the end because, of course, I added more text into it and didn't push the cursor back. All right, so you're going to see some Googling on this show, folks. I'm sorry, I did not. What I ended up spending most of the week, or a little bit of the week, is in my spare time, I was looking at color schemes, because I and the other fellow who were working on this problem at work, he was more interested in color schemes. I'm interested in color schemes too, so we looked into it. But cursor position, I did not discover before the show started. So anyways, this is the problem here. We can't have that. No. Okay, so this tells me something. I want a test that fails because of that problem. And the problem is the cursor position isn't bloody set. All right? Now, we're going to be using that interface into the view object because we're not accessing the view object directly. But before we even get all hopped up and go ready to do that, because we've just designed it here, we're using our words and in our heads, we ought to prototype to see what's possible. Because, speaking from experience, sometimes what you imagine how it'll work doesn't work in reality. So this is our reality. I am going to add some code without TDD, which I will take out, just like that learn colors code, to see how to move that cursor back where it belongs. And once I know how to move that cursor back where it belongs, then I can implement it properly in a design. So we're going to do some prototyping so that we know what code. Number one, we need to know where to put the code change in. And if we don't know where to put the code change in, you can't really test drive it yet. So we've just got to learn a little bit more so we can test drive. So, okay, I've explained myself there. So if we take a quick look at something in main activity, we're going to put in another learn here. Learn to move cursor. Okay, maybe I can curse on this show because today it's about the cursor. Gotta spell it right, I suppose. Okay, and let's get those. We like to keep the curly braces tidier so we don't have them sprawl all over and using up valuable vertical space. Get back up there, just in case you're wondering. So learn to move cursor, fung, learn. Wow, just a lot of typos there. There we are. Okay, now see what we can learn here. So if I get a text view, so my first strategy, rather than just go straight to Google, I'm going to try to code it out here. See if the IDE can help me discover the APIs. I've been less excited with this IDE about that, but it's the one we got to use. Okay, we're looking for like set cursor. Text. All right, so that's not what I want. Location. And let's just take a gander at these sets. Excuse me, sets. I mean, it's a computer. We should be able to tell it what to do. That's what they're around for. Some days I feel like they're telling me what to do, but no, it's usually they're telling me what I don't know. Like, you don't know how to do this yet. That's why you're still sitting here trying to teach me, trying to learn how to work with me. All right, I'm not seeing anything that has cursor or input. I might try that one. Input might be a good way. Input. All right. And we're working at the view layer right now, so there might be a smaller layer of an object. So let's go to the Googles. Let's go to the Googles. Oops, how did I get a semicolon? I got a semicolon in my code. I just can't have that. Wow. That's an offends my minimalistic intentions. All right, so we're going to the Googles. All right, set, cursor, Kotlin, and text view. What's that thing called? Text edit. What is an SSN field? It is a app compat edit text. So an edit text. This link was already clicked on. Apparently I've been here before. All right, they're talking about layout. Set selection. Oh. Well, apparently set selection was the way. Let's go try it out. This could be easy. Because I already stuck that in my interface at the end of maybe the last episode. You guys saw the last episode, right? Can you remind me? Well, let me see if there's any chat. Hi, everyone. Return. I do not know how the LinkedIn chat works. Share in a post. So this is complicated, guys. This is not like chat, like, oh, I can send a chat. I've attended things in LinkedIn. I've chatted on LinkedIn. And I never had all this complication. But when I'm in the show, oh, there, it actually went now. It's a little harder. That's weird. Let me type another message. What are we doing right now? We are trying to set selection. Post. There's a little post button. Ah, that works. Okay, there's a tiny, tiny little post button. It's tiny on my iPad anyhow, but it does its job, so can't complain. Well, now that I learned how to use that app. Okay, let's see if we can get this to work. SSN field. Okay, so we're prototyping on main activity and learn to move cursor. Ba ba ba. Text view. Dot. Come on, baby. Dot. Oh my gosh. Set selection. Now, we typed at 1. We would like the cursor to show up at. Hang on a second. If I put the code right where I have it right now, it's going to move my cursor position before I even get into type in the 1. So I really want it to happen from my code, the SSN text watcher, because that's the one that adds the mask. So what I think I'm going to do now, I'm not going to, this isn't going to quite, I don't think this will give me what I want. But, all right, hang on a second. Let's just see what happens if I move it to 5. So when the app comes up, it'll have a initial mask, and now the cursor should be 6 positions over because we start at 0. But I'm learning that Kotlin isn't inclusive of the highest number, so it'll probably be in the 4th position. So let's see what happens. You're like, what the hell is that? Yeah, I know. It's if you're programming Kotlin for a while, it's going to change your mind on that. All right, let's run this baby. If it doesn't work, I'm going to put it into the text watcher, and we'll prototype it from there. So what's a prototype, folks? Prototype is code you're going to throw away. So that's why, I mean, we're not test driving this code. It's not peer. Launch succeeded. All right, where is my simulator? Come on. Yes, I'm here, simulator. seems like I'm a little disappointed here. The simulator's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Why is that? Okay, let's go back here. I hit this button. Oh, it's not running. Maybe we crashed. Ooh. Maybe it would crash because we haven't gotten everything ready. Oh, okay. Set span 5, ends beyond length 0. Okay, that's why it crashed. It says, whoa, dude, you just moved that cursor beyond where you even have input. So apparently it cares. Not a bad experiment. I mean, so let's take this code out, take the offensive code out, and we're going to prototype it first, see if we can get it to work for that one case. We'll take that code out, we'll TDD it back in, and then because we know our protocol works, we can now add it in for all the other digits that we type in. Okay? All right, so let's do it. All right, we're going to prototype an SSN text watcher. Yep. Apparently I was doing some other things. We get color in here too. Okay, so our action happens right here. Okay? Oh, set selection of text edit. Right there. So I've already got the API in there. I did that in the last show. I just didn't remember. And then, but then now the API has been renamed to of text edit. So I don't have that nasty little problem where it was calling itself recursively, perhaps. So, okay. Anyways, it's there now. And I don't think I care about this stuff, but I'm going to leave it there because I and that other fellow are going to tackle colors. So if it's greater than 1, it'll do this. If it's not greater than 1, it will do that. Greater than 1. Yeah, that means equal to 1. Okay. This is the simplest code that will work. It needs a lot more love than this, but it needs more unit tests to get that love, and we don't have it yet. So, all right, so we've got this. Let's figure out what it's doing, because it's not, it wasn't already working. Okay, that's the interface. Who's implementing you? That would be, let's back up, make sure it's SSN field access. Okay. And that, get in there. Why aren't you getting in there? Text watcher. SSN field access. Yes, I know this. All right. It's not, I thought I could navigate the other way, but it's not going to work that way. Okay, so I'm in SSN field. This is the fella that implements. Look at that. Get selection of text edit, and it's emptiness, right? How sad. Oh, you know what? This is starting to trigger memories. This was crashing in the last show, and it was probably because it was recursively calling itself, right? It's going. But now, it's not recursively calling it. It's calling set selection. Let's see what happens. Cross your fingers, folks. Hang on. Here we go. Look scared. Look excited. It's like being on Star Trek. Warp Factor 8, Scotty. Ship's listing to the side. How does that big ship list? I don't know. It's a spacecraft. Okay. Captain, we are now slowed down. Whew. All right, let's see what happened. Did the experiment succeed? All right, well, it didn't crash. Nice. I'm going to type a 1 here. Oh, I got to get my input. There it is. Got the input there. Type in a 1. Oh, and the cursor's not where I want it to be. Experiment did not pass. But it didn't crash like I think it was last show. So why isn't it setting the position? It is now greater than 1. I typed in a 1. It's greater than 1. It put the mask there, right? Da-da-da-da. And then this is the last step in the mask is text watcher. Okay, after text change, so after I type in that 1, it comes in here and it goes, whoa, I'm going to put in a mask. So it's got the X dash blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's for length greater than 1. Oh, shoot. That's why I didn't do it. It actually, I got to look at this. It's actually in this else, right? There's only 2 blah, blah, blahs there. All right, let's just move this code. We're going to delete it. Because remember, we're going to test drive this code in a bit. And, oh, am I crazy or what? Apparently, we already had this. I don't know why I don't see things, but yeah, it's right there. All right, so it did X, 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 X. And I still want to delete that code, but because I'm not even testing that part right now. This is the code I'm in, because the character's length is greater than 1 when I push 1. It's not going to be great 1. It's character great length of 1. I'm having a lot of confusion, actually, because when I type in things into the mask, is the character's length even accurate now? No, I think it's going to have the mask length in it. So this will execute. Oh yeah, I'm double checking we got this. Right, we have our guard statements here. App is adding mask, exit. Wow. My brain is having a bunch of questions come up that I don't know that should be coming up. Why is that? All right, we're going to have to walk through this carefully here. I think I'm going to leave that other line in there because I don't know enough about what's going on. I mean, whatever line I put in there isn't working. See if I append onto mask end, characters, mask. What is this function? Oh, right. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Oh, okay, so I'm computing the mask here. I'm trying to set the selection. And then I actually work on the mask down here. So my order is not correct. Wow, tricky, tricky kids. So that code should never be there. But for one instance, it can be there. This is just the prototype. I know it's not perfect right now. All right, so this code here, I'm going to put a comment in here, which is a sign of bad design. But we're going to leave it there because right now that's my design. It's bad design. The below computes the mask. That's all it does. Its job is just to compute the bloody mask. This here is what safely appends the mask on the end without causing reentry problems. Sorry, my nose is itchy. And that one is setting the selection of the text edit. Okay? Now, I think that's okay. Let's try that. Okay. Run. Oops, come here. Once we confirm that set selection of text edit strategy works, then we can start going back to test driving against that API. Okay. 1. Oh, look at that. Boom. The cursor's in the right spot. Look at that, folks. Just put the line of code in the right spot and it works. That's the way the computer jobs are, man. You don't put the code in the right spot, computer don't want to do it. Now that's just the test. That's a prototype. It won't actually continue working. If I type more, it keeps putting it there. Boom. Boom. All right, cool. We got a new way to enter text. So it's not smart enough yet, but that proves our concept, proof of concept. All right, nice. So I've got to upvote this. This was a beautiful answer. And beautiful answers. Yeah, that's all good too. That's a very good answer. All right, so we've done a little curating. Look at that, my Stack Overflow rankings climbing slowly. You can all help me out if you go vote up my Stack Overflow questions and answers. Boo, you get me through the top here. It's all a popularity contest after all. It's what these social systems are. Okay, so that's all good, and that will work. That is pretty cool. Now we can do some TDD. I can take this code out. I can delete it, or if I feel like I'm going to forget that API, I'll comment it out. And I'm going to comment out because you know what? Being on a live stream, somewhat distracting. Like I'm going to check over here see if there's any comments. Nope, no comments. I'll give myself a thumbs up. All right. Anyways. Oh, yeah, this is cool, fine. We need to fix it below. Yeah, we got this all set up. Now, are my unit tests all passing? Because I want to do some refactoring. Because I'm not happy with this ugliness that I just uncovered. Oh, might be too early yet. So that ugliness I've uncovered, no. It can be in a separate function. All right. Ooh, what? We have a failing test case. What happened here? Well, something I changed has already made it upset. After text change, user enters single digit. Okay, so they put in a 1. What does get selection end do? Holy smokes. I like how the IDE doesn't help me. And it actually might not be the IDE's fault. It might be actually that they didn't actually bother to document their code. Oh, what a headache. Get selection end. What do you do? I'm really confused by that. I don't know what that would do. I can't figure it out. Let's go do a Google. Text view, get selection and get the selection. I'd love to take the survey, but not right now. I'm afraid I'm going to be rather complainy. Oh yeah, it's in Java view. That's not good. Ah, come on. Colin. Wow. Come on. Well, another reason not to be happy with this. It's really loads slow. And it's still in Java. What the heck, man? Yeah, well, all right, they got work to do. And my browser is not doing great here. Get selection end. A convenience. I don't want people. You're killing me here. All right, get selection end, I think, tells me the length of the field. And it tells me how many spaces are in there. This should probably tell me this convenience. I want to murder somebody. This is template code. This has been templatized. That doesn't help me anywhere. So guess what? We're stuck with writing learning programs because if this is a wiki, at least I could update it. Oh my gosh, folks, this is horrible. I'm sorry. Maybe somebody explained it though, other than the developer docs. which are horrible. No two ways about it. Did it crash? No? Wow. Get back to there. Wow. Something's not good in browser land here, folks. I don't know what's going on. See what this one says. Let's go to the non-official developer docs where there's real information. I'm trying to get a implement a copy paste. Start selection, end selection. Okay, that looks reasonable. So they have getters on selection start and get selection end, and this little fella got selection end, and that's returning. Okay. I think we're onto something here. This is actually failing because the cursor is at the end. Okay, I'm going to make too many assumptions. That sounds right. Let's do a test because we're doing the test here because there's this code in this test, and I don't understand what the goal is. It might be, hey, this is going to tell you where the cursor is, but it says get selection end. It isn't get cursor position, which, by the way, would be a great thing to ask about. Get selection start and how about this? Let's ask that because I feel like get selection. I don't ever want to use that. I think that's the wrong answer. Get cursor. I'm going to type it out. Okay. Gets the cursor at the word R. You know, he's kind of doing some stuff like what we're doing. Okay, it says you can get the cursor position by going get selection start, get selection end methods. If no text is highlighted, still he's talking about highlighting again. User has entered the string and keeps the cursor after the word R, like right there, and press enter. I need to get the cursor position. Location. All right, so now they're talking about selection again. At least this one is. Cursor position would be at start, maybe? Maybe. Maybe helpful for some people to know. Get selection and get selection start are static methods in the selection class, not on the text edit itself. Here are the docs. Joe Mama. Thank you, Joe Mama. These don't look like static methods here, kids, so I don't know what you're getting on. That's in selection. Let the learning begin. Oh my God. Select all. Oh, these are static. Spannable. Set selection. Could be useful stuff here for later. I don't think this is what I want today. Oh, wow. So these are all static. Extend left, right. So if they're static, you basically pass in a spannable text, a spannable, and the spannable must have the knowledge about what's going on, where the cursor is, which is interesting. Oh, move the cursor position to the buffer offset, physically to the left of the current offset, or return false. All right, I can see some experimentations happening here. I don't know if I want to investigate all of this. This is kind of useful. I think I'm going to go back there and upvote his comment. Select all, and use pass in the spannable. Because one of the things I've learned this week is that spannable plays a key part in what's going on with text. In a lot of other UI systems, the view layer has a lot of the smarts, but in this case, I think they've delegated some of that down to something called a spannable, which is kind of cool. I think it could make things a little bit, make your view layers not have everything in the world in it. Okay, so we got some learning to do. I can active bookmark, huh? Have to sign in. Let's see if that all works. Boom. All right. I thought that was a good comment, fella. Wherever you were. What am I? Is this one? Selection is that. This one should be the one I was reading. Wow, there's a lot of answers in this. Yeah. I like the graphic on that one. Okay. So we have to learn some things, or discover. We're going to discover something. This won't be too hard. We're going to learn, I believe, get selection end will be if you highlight something. But if you don't, get selection end and get selection start should be the same. And that will be the cursor position. So how do we test that? Let's run a quick test before we go too crazy on this. Okay, because what we're trying to discover is this the appropriate way to find out if this is the length? Because cursor position, if it puts the cursor there, it really should be 1. Position 1. And it's given us position 10 because it's like way over here, right? So I think it's a correctly failing test. We've got our failing test case already. I want to refactor the code. Let's go back to the code and make some decisions. I'm going to test this in the code before I get too committed on it. Text watcher. All right, so here's where I'm going to put this little bit of code in there. And I'm going to do SSN field access and ask about the get current. No, color, it's not the color. What was it? Let's close this one. Get selection end. End of text edit. Ah. Right, so I put in the API to get that as well. So I had, that last show, I set up a lot of things that I'm going to need today. Apparently I was onto something. Just had that trouble with the recursion. Okay, so this is probably, it's going to return a 1 because it's moved to the first spot, right? And I want to confirm that because I'm trying to head off writing a bunch of code that isn't sensible. So we got to do a little test, see if we understand it. If we understand it, we get back to the TDD land. So let's see, print line. And we're going to say end of text edit is 1. How about selection? hard-coded string. I'm just going to say that. Okay. All right. So my hypothesis is we'll see this print out something. I guess I'll make a contrary statement too. Sorry, folks. All right. Let's run it. Oh, I'm running my test still. Comes up with yellow if there's a test failure, I guess. I don't know what's up with Android Studio, but do they not like red for failure? They like green when succeeded. Launch succeeded. Let's get over here. All right, let's see what happens if I type in 1. Okay, cursor pushes the right place. Let's go look at the output. Yeah, okay. That test is doing its job. I just got to call the API and I have to use my interface for everything. I can't use the. Okay, I remember now. Last week I was having an argument about whether that's the right thing to do or not. Okay. So just in case we decide to come back here and reconvince ourselves that this code works or not, we're going to comment out the prototype code. I usually like to delete it, but I got like three lines in there. I don't want to retype those 3 lines. Okay, so back to our test. We are going to have one failing test, and I don't care about it. And I'm going to extract this code into its own function. And of course, I would normally do that with a extract call, but I don't know why there's not an extract in here. Does someone tell me what's going on with function ... maybe? Function to scope. Make a function to scope, maybe? No, I don't want that. Fancy. How about this one? Oops. Factor function ... I don't know what that's going to do. Let's just see what it does. It actually will do what I wanted to do. All right, function ... It is then. It's weird you have to put all these hints around here in Kotlin, in the Kotlin. All right, so we're going to rename this to a better name because S sucks, right? Compute mask. That's my mask computer. And now I can get rid of this. The below computes the mask. Boom! There you go, folks. Refactor the code. Got rid of a stupid comment because it's not necessary now because we got that. And that is a part of the design. Okay. And that's a more powerful strategy than just comments. Design brings scope and a lot of other structure. Okay, what else do we have in here? We have a var mask string. And then we return the mask. I wonder why it's var here. Probably because if it's a val, you have to initialize it right away, right? It's okay. Okay. So, I think I'm okay with that. Let's see if all the tests pass still. Okay, the same one failed, I assume. Yeah. All right, so let's get this test passing. We're ready to go. Pa, 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 pa. All right, watcher, get selection N should be calling watcher, which is our SSN text watcher, and it's going to use the API. Oh, that's right. Okay, so watcher is an SSN text watcher. It's got a mock object in it and a spy. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, get selection. Why does SSN watcher have a get selection N? It's a text watcher. Apparently because I declared one. Oh, and then I'm going to return it. Okay. That's okay. All right. I didn't. All right, sorry, folks. I'm just remembering what I apparently did this in the last show. Why is this one commented out? Set selection. Just maybe it means it isn't called. It's all hazy. Yeah, saying you don't need it, you don't use it yet. All right, so I think that's okay. All right. Okay. We are good. Now, my test is failing. Let's make it pass. So how I would do it is, after compute mask, I have to, whoops, not after compute mask. After this compute mask, oh, I should like inline this maybe. Don't need that. Let's inline that baby. How about that? Okay. So after we safely append on to end, we are going to set the selection point. Now, I'm hoping that I can set the selection point and it won't cause it to think that I'm editing, right? Because I'm not editing, so it should be okay. Let's find out. Okay, I'm going to set it. I'm hard coding it. Yeah. We're going to hard code it though, until we drive it with to be more flexible with some tests. And now, question is, does my test pass and does my app work? Because we now have two questions whenever we do these things. I actually think getting the test to pass will be a little more complicated because there's got to be some mock object thing. Oh, it passed. I was pretty sure there was going to be some mock object thing we have to do. All right. Before we even think about that, let's go run the app. Let's just move on. Moving on. Okay. Gradle build, launching app. Okay. I don't know why my laptop seems to be running slower today. Okay, let's see what happens. Type 1, boom, works, beautiful. Now, of course, it won't work for other things because we haven't test-driven more smarts into the object, which is gonna be controlling the view layer remotely via that interface. All right, so next test. Let's see if we can get another one done before I call it a Friday. Just checking over here, seeing if anybody's giving me any love on the LinkedIn. Today's I'm over on the LinkedIn because it has integrated chat, but no love. Shoot. No love. David, there's no love. Send me some love, bro. Are you on LinkedIn? Come on, man. Get in. What? It's too busy having fun to get on LinkedIn. Man, I tell you, solopreneurs are so difficult. Okay. No ums. You do not need verbal pauses here, folks. All right, how do I, look at that code. I'm going to hand send this code up with a reformat. Format, where is the format code? Reformat code, damn it. Alt, butterfly L. Sweet, much better. Thank you, Android Studio, or as we say in China, 谢谢. Okay, so, sorry, I'm a little bit. There we are. Okay, new test, right? Simple. Let's see what tests we've got over here. Tests. Man, I tell you, the day they took that test runner out of here, I do not think that was a great move. I have to run my tests to get to the test runner so I can click on the tests or scroll through the tests. If you don't ever look at your unit tests and give them any attention, you're probably not going to do well with this. But if you look at them and say, huh, what's in here? Learn functional weight. Okay, that makes sense. Learn how to use delete. Oh yeah, those are learning ones. If you never look at them, but I'm looking at them. I'm trying to figure out after text change. Mask, get it correct. Okay, this one. Guess what, folks? We're entering in a second number. Oh my God, what's going to happen when we do? Wow, we're using assert equals now. Assert mask correct. We should have a 2 from our watcher. Okay. We'll leave the color one for later when I get to the color one. Otherwise I'm going to forget. All right, so, wow, why is it giving me that? I don't know what it wants. Ah, that looks horrible. What a terrible idea. Oh, you cute little IDE. Wrong answer. Come on, folks. Look at this. Would you really, Android Studio? Terrible. You're increasing my vertical usage. And that's a horrible idea. All right, anyways. Can I tell it to never bother with me? Press Shift something L? I don't know. Can't figure it out. Or maybe it's a vertical bar. Anyways, we're moving on. So assert. All right, I already got it there. So we expect it to be that, right? So if I run the unit tests, what's going to happen? Test will fail. Why is it going to fail? Because it isn't got any logic to handle that. It's just going to keep saying 1. It's going to keep resetting it to position 1 or 12. I didn't expect that answer. All right. All right, why is that? 0, 1, 2. Let's get 12. know, it's just code. It's probably not doing anything. Oh. I got to clean up some other things after text change characters. All right, we're going to clean those things out. SSN text watcher. We'll probably leave those in just for nostalgia purposes. I don't know. It's weird as a developer, you're reluctant to take out those things because the moment you do, you feel like you're going to need it again. But we're not. Our value is 2. After text change characters, current color -1. We're going to eventually have to clean those cruft out of here. I don't know where the color part's coming from. The color part might be coming from the main activity. All right, I'm going to ignore that. Expected 2, but was 1. That's the main point. All right, so we're being test-driven, folks. It's like, look, you can't just like set it to 1 all the time, and it's right. So we need to be smarter about it. Now, we have to think about this. And what we need to know is when we enter in text, what position have we entered into so we can keep backing up? And we want to handle the case where people are using like X as a social security number. Kind of an arbitrary reason for that, but I won't go into why. So we need to be able to differentiate between the mask and the differentiate between the mask and the user entry. So we need to keep track of the user entries separately, and we're hitting that point where we need to pay attention because now I need to know, oh, how many things has the user entered? If I can't assume that X is a necessary entry, if I can't assume X is a mask entry, then we have a problem. I need to keep track of something. All right, so we need to do some changes here. This has been coming. It's arbitrary in this case. If you just want social security numbers, you don't have to do this, but we're going to make this generic to any type of text inputs, be it social security number or alphanumerics. Okay, so that's the excuse. It's official. I just said it on the air. Now we're going to do it. So we're going to track user entry in a string, a spannable build. Spannable. Am I going to do it in here? Yes, the text watcher. It's going to keep track of that state. Spannable. Spannable, spannable, spannable. Or it could be editable. Can we declare an editable here? Why not? I'm writing Java code. Stop it. All right. Oh, I need to put a... It's a value because... I don't know how this works in Kotlin. I think that's correct. It wants me to set it to something. All right, we're going to be set to nothing. Okay, does that make you happy? Come here. Oh, editable is an interface. All right, I need my spannable. And I think I just need the editable interface. That should be okay. Yes. Now, you see me writing code. I'm trying to make that test pass. So I'm adding in some new design work so that I can ask something, how many things has the user entered? Because now we got to have 2 books for our bookkeeping. One for user entry, one for mask. Again, I'll say it again. It wasn't necessary just for Social Security numbers, but I got a new requirement from my day job, and they want this to work with not just Social Security numbers. To say it simply, it needs to be able to handle alphanumerics as well as numbers, and still mask it right with X's and dashes. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? All right, so let me write it down. I think it could be lowercase. And also handle not only numbers, but Social Security numbers with letters too. And you're like, holy cow, I didn't know that was allowed. Well, it may someday. This is really, I'm trying to make something that was built for a Social Security number fit something that's a little more flexible that requires this. Okay, it's going to make us work a little harder. If you just want Social Security numbers, you won't like that working a little harder. But hey, then you have to like go take this TDD thing in your own direction. But we're going to do it this way, kids. This way. Daddy's got bills to pay. Okay, so I've got that there. I've got a way to track my user input. Now I got to start using it, right? And I'm not test driving this because the code doesn't care. The thing that my test doesn't care about the details that are private in this class. It cares about the interface doing the right thing. And right now, doing the right thing means you got to set the cursor position after the last user input. And if I accept not letters, I can't find my last user input. So I have to track it separately. So after text change is fine. How about, where's the on text change? We have on, after, and before. So before, we don't care about. That's going to be about what's that doesn't help us any. Okay. Or could it? Could I use that to do a delta and I don't have to have 2 data structures? Not sure. That seems complicated. Let's not do that. Okay, so compute mask. Don't care about that. After text change. So after the text is changed, we will store the user's input. That's what we're going to do. And so characters editable. So we're going to say, what's that thing called? User input? What is this? Give me an equals? I want to copy though. I don't want to take the actual, how do I copy a string? I want to get a copy of those characters. I don't want a reference to it. I can do toString. That should give me a copy, right? I think it would. All right, I think toString will work. All right, so we're going to copy that into this user input. Am I appending it to it, or am I sticking it all in there? I need to be careful that I don't accidentally put the mask in there. So how am I going to do that? So the user types in a 1. That's going to happen. So when my code starts entering in the mask, how is it going to, it's like, I don't think this will work. Come here, a pen. That's not going to work though. Let me make this. You know what? Some days the IDEs just think they're too smart. Okay. So I want it to look like that for a moment so I can fix it later. So I need to think about this. So after the user enters data, like I enter in a bunch of numbers, da 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 da, and the masking code is going to go back and put X's in there. And when it puts X's in there, I don't want to put that in my user input because that's not user input. So I think that means it has to happen within this function about safely append on the n, because safely append on the n won't, it'll be protected from being called more than once. Well, actually, after this guard statement, it'll be protected. Oh, okay, true. So that's my guard statement. Okay. So that's my guard statement. Keeps me from going in here when I shouldn't. If I'm adding to the mask, don't append to the user input. If I'm not adding to the mask, capture the user's input, but I don't want the previous mask. Okay, so now we got some trickery going on. This is quite a bit of more logic when you have to do it this way. I liked it better with just regular social security numbers. Get challenged here. That means we have to have a user's input, we have to keep track of our mask and not get the two mixed up. Wow, what a trick. This is like when you're, this is like the developer's version of when your house is being remodeled and the wife says, I want to see this, 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 and I want the red cherry wood handles. And you think, okay. And then you start building the red cherry wood handles, and then she goes, and when you pull up in the drawers, the handles spin. And I'm like, oh, that sounds complicated. And it's there because somebody wants it. It's not because the developer wants it. I don't want this. It's extra complexity. It just means more work, right? But the customer wants it. So we're going to have cherry wood handles that spin. Kinetic cherry wood handles it is. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of an exercise here. So user input, and we're going to have mask. So we have this. We have the static mask here, but we're going to have our, what do we call this? Masked fields, maybe? I hope I can actually instantiate this now. I have a unit, a spannable string builder might actually be something I can't instantiate in a unit test. Let's do a check before I go further. I may have to use a different type of class. I might have a test crash here. All right, the tests are still instantiating. Yeah. Did you see that not mocked stuff? Okay, so we gotta go back to my test case. Damn it, that means, oh, Android. I have to make another decision on that. So in my test case, I use my own version of spannable string builder called my spannable string builder. And I think I'm going to have to use that in this other code as well, because my spannable string builder will work well enough. Let me think. All right, so this data, if I use this data structure, it will cause me to bring in another class. Is it the right data structure to use, or should I just get by with strings? Strings are not mutable in Kotlin, so I needed a higher level data structure. And I believe this is the recommended one that people would use. And hang on a second, let's do Google in case there's something else. Do I need mutable strings? I mean, I'm going to add to the end, or I'm going to delete from the end. Yeah, this is really a bit of ugliness. All right, strings, Kotlin. String builder. All right, and then I was using something called spannable string builder, which might not be necessary. So let's back up. Maybe I got too fancy of a class, and we can get by with a spannable, a string builder. It might be the spanning. Let's see, what is the key point here? How do I? So I'm testing out my knowledge on this IDE, and that didn't work. Okay, bum. That's all test stuff there. Okay, so maybe string builder will work. Okay. Let's run those tests, see if they're all happy again. I know one of them might still fail, but I don't want to see the erroring out due to something's not mockable. 7 passed. Okay, that solves that problem. Yes, but if you wanted to use spannable string builders, you can come over and go to the GitHub under Lancer Kind on GitHub for the SSN text editor. And then you could go get that one. Okay, so now, mass fields. It's just saying it's not used yet. Yeah. All right, we have 2 places to put information. And on text change, I'm trying to decide where I want to put the tracking of that. Well, maybe I go back and put it where I was, just keep it all in the same method that I've been talking about doing it in, like here. After, right here, user input, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that is going to store user input that isn't dashes and masking information into there. Okay. The compute mask is going to compute the mask. So compute mask, when it computes the mask, oh, that depends. Stores compute mask. Should also update. Maybe compute mask uses the yeah, compute mask got to use the string, that class variable I just declared. And it needs to be a class variable because I need to maintain that state during this interaction. So when compute mask is called, why am I not seeing it here? Oh, it's here. Okay. So compute mask. I think it's okay to return the mask, but I don't need to because I'm in the class variable. And safely append on a mask could use the class variable. And I think I need the class variable because I gotta maintain state. All right. So let's change this a little bit. It's gonna proceduralize things. I'm not really happy about that, but whatever. Let's try it. So what did I say? What did I call this up here? Masked fields. I don't like that name. And we're not going to return anything. And oh, it's a value. Shouldn't be. Changed to a var. Yes. All right, mask. I'm really going to be butchering my code. I wish I checked in. This is supporting the social security numbers out of characters is really killing me here. All right. They need to be spannable string builder. Dot append maybe. Is there also a set? Bunch of stuff in here I can do. Just do this. And so I'm maintaining the bad logic until I get this refactoring in. And wow, compute mask, since it doesn't return anything, let's come back out here. I really liked it there, but that's the way it's going to be. And now this is going to take, just going to use our class variable when I get in there. Change that name. I hate that name. Masked fields. Is it just the mask? Have I used mask somewhere? Can I say just mask? Maybe not. Let's try it. User's input. What the user input? What the user entered? User entry? Wow, that's good to me. Okay. And I hope it didn't screw up my refactoring browser. I have a red line in here. What are we looking at? did screw that up. Okay, now let's change this to that, and then user entry, what the user typed on their phone, something like that. I'm going to be really descriptive. What user entered that's good enough. Okay. All right. So we still see the test fail. I hope I don't see a ton more fail. Otherwise, I really muck things up. All right, it looks about right. One failed. And a lot of work to get it to a state where I can add two things. All right, so just in case you're kind of confused what I'm trying to do here, it's like this. All right, so we have a user, what user entered. This is the numbers the user types. And sometimes the user might put in dashes, or it might copy paste it from a social security number, drop it in there. It'll even have the dashes. So that's another possibility that we want to handle. We're being really nice to our users here, folks. And then we have to have this separate thing called mask, the mask. This is what the program added to as a hint to the user. So now we have two separate things to track. This is the complexity I didn't want to deal with, but it was clear to me that we want to handle alphanumerics, all kinds of stuff in there, as if they're allowed as social security numbers. So we got to take those two things together and we merge that into the view for the SSN field. To what are those called? Strings. And construct and merge them into something for the view. It's an editable. Into the view is editable. Okay. So an example is like this. XXX. Okay. This is mask. What user entered. It's going to be empty, emptiness, nothing. Okay, step one. Step two. Okay, and we have that functionality working, but now we're working with multiple masks. And how we, oh yeah, editable. It's going to have okay. So once we do this, we want to merge the above to our editable, so that it's one, oops, wow, no, I'm glad I'm typing this out because it's actually teaching me something here. Like I didn't want that one in there, I'm still thinking like my old code. Editable is going to be one, XX, okay. and so on. Okay, so this is the idea of using two in order to support alpha numeric SSNs, or more likely handle copy paste of copy from that into SSN field. We need two records, or two data structures, or two, and we'll tell them data structures, to handle that. Oh, I'm getting a new idea here. Handle. Interesting. I'm getting a new thought, folks. Maybe we'll try this in the next show. It seems like if we had a class, yet another class, I'm going to build classes, like a friend of mine at my day job said, I build classes like I'm getting paid by the class. And that keeps your classes small, easy to unit test, and you're unit testing simple things. If we made a class that honored this contract, it just is this thing that goes, you give it two things, and you give it these two things, and it creates your editable. You give it these two things, and it creates this editable. And then, of course, you put in like a 2. So it keeps deleting the mask and merging it into this editable. So that's 1, 2. So that's for the adding. Now if I delete, if the user starts deleting things, we have to add to the mask too. We have to add the mask back in. That's interesting thought too. I wonder if no, I think I would have been able to handle that. Okay, so eventually we're going to have deletion too, and we have to add the mask back in. So I feel in my future, not in this show because we're too close to the end of the time, we're going to create a smarter class that does those two things. It takes two things in and it executes, it creates that merged editable. And what it needs as input is what the user entered. I don't know. I feel like it should manage the mask on its own and not require external work. Wow, yeah, I think that might be nice. I just give it that, and then from that it derives the mask and the editable. Does it have enough information for that? Probably. And when it derives that, it also needs to know if I'm adding or deleting. So like later, if I have this scenario, and I delete, and we have step 4. Is a colon. What would the user enter there? That would be a delete. Can the user enter a delete? Maybe. Then mask goes and then editable does like so. And that class, all it needs, can I do this? If all it needs is the user entered, what the user entered, can it derive my mask? I know what the starting mask status is. And I'm pretty sure I can communicate what was deleted. But deletion can be pretty sporty, like if they start to handle, like if you delete using the selecting areas of text to delete, that will get hairy. But it could all be done, and it could be unit tested without talking to the view. I just need this behavior. The view only cares about what's in the editable. All right. Well, my brain's getting pretty excited. I'm a little bit. The only thing I can't decide right now is whether, what does that leave? What's the responsibility of the class that I have, which is the SSN text watcher? Oh, SSN text watcher is, its job is to hand off to that object. And right now, SSN watcher, what's turning in right now, what's happening is it's turning into having the responsibility of dealing with all that logic. And what that means is I have to handle these other functions. So I don't know yet if I'm ready to split off into a new class, but that's a possibility. It's a possibility. Okay, let's see if we can get this test to pass. And we'll decide later. We'll see if it emerges. That design might emerge, meaning we'll see it's like, oh yeah, we should definitely put that in its own separate little tight unit. I like the idea because the interface is clean. I just tell it what the user input. It needs to remember the state of the mask, of the editable. Does it need to remember the state of the editable? Yeah, I think so. Maybe it doesn't though. Yes, it does. Otherwise I don't know how to reproduce the string after deleting the one thing the user deleted. So, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, let's get this test to pass. And let's take a break. So after text change, I got to rerun the test because my references are all off. Okay. So my failed test is here, and it's saying like, look, dude, expected 2, but it was 1. Boom. Okay, how do we get that to work? Well, we're going to go into this class, and we're going to have to tell it to set. And we're going to have to, we compute the mask, safely dependent on the end. What user entered. Append that. This isn't going to be quite right because I think what user entered is going to be, oops, oh, that's going to be in here. When I run it in the phone, this is all of the characters in the editable. And all the characters in the editable is more than what the user entered. It's also all the characters in the editable. So it includes the mask too. So this code will not work. Haven't exposed that yet with a unit test, but this code will not work. So have to be really clear on what's entered in by the user and what's entered in by the phone application. And I can't do it this way, right? Yeah, asking myself some big thoughts today. That's got a little bit more information there. All right, I'm not gonna stress about that too much. We might find a way. So for now, what the user entered after text changed. That happens whether the user entered it or not. How am I going to know the difference between what the user entered and what my app entered? Oh, because when I'm in the mode of app adding a mask, I return. So it won't come in here. And then after the mask is added into that editable, it will still come in here when it's not added, and somebody hit a new button, a new piece of text. I think I need to just get the one piece. Wow, my life just got so complicated with that requirement. Unhappiness. Will not work as mask is in here too. I think this will work somewhere else. I think this will work here. Because on text changed, I have to go observe how this works again, because I have to be careful. I have to know when it's user entered and when it's not user entered, and this might be the key, is on text changed. All right. Am I distracted with something? Can I find a way to make this test pass by ignoring it? Well, the problem is I'm worried about this, what looks like it's going to be a bug. All right, compute mask is going to do this. Safely append mask on the end. And I know what my mask is, but I know what my mask is. That, sure shooting. That means anything that's on my mask is not user entry. So if my counting is good on my mask, then I know what's the mask by user entry. So here's an example. Sorry folks, I'm doing a lot of pseudocode exampling today. Where is that block of code? Is that in here? Yeah. Let's say I don't know what the user entered. I don't keep that stored anywhere, but I keep the mask. What option? Okay, I know something got entered just by looking at that. And so if I pass in the editable, which is going to be, I can derive okay. Oh, that seems better because I don't like keeping extra lists of things. It's just more maintenance. Can I always derive it? If the user deletes something, my mask grows. if the user adds something, my mask gets smaller. Okay. That seems promising because I'm having trouble making an arbitrary list of user input when I could derive it, because I can be very clear. I think I can be very clear. I don't know, we'll find out. This seems simpler. And I know what the mask is. The mask is defined up front. Define, and because the mask design, mask components, characters, constant throughout, and the user input is not. I just need to shrink and grow my mask. I can shrink and grow the mask and assume, because I'm always going left to right, by the way, too. So this is a left to right functionality. Yeah. And assume everything outside the mask is user entry. As long as I know when I'm shrinking and growing. The crazy thing is, that's it. I don't think there's anything crazy about it. That seems like that could work. So, but today, let's see if I can get this test passing and shut down the show, because I've been at it for 2 hours. Okay. Can I get by on my design right now, and I can let on the background think about this other design? Let's see here. So we go into citizen field access, text watcher, and we need to implement something here that helps me know I'm growing. Okay, when I compute my mask, if the character's length is greater than 1, I am puzzled. I am surprised this code. I'm starting to get too confused now. So, okay. Yeah, this will only work the first time. I understand now why the iPhone was doing what it was doing, or the Android phone was doing what it's doing. It's okay. Yeah, character's length is always getting off. Yikes! All right. Interesting, kids. I see why adding masking adds so much complexity here. Especially generic masking. I need to know the length. I need to count the characters the user entered or delete, so if I know it's growing or shrinking. Because when I set selection of text edit, that's going to be important. I think I need to do a user cursor position or... So because I haven't, the data structure I described earlier, I don't have an easy way to solve this problem. I need to add yet another thing, maybe temporarily, so I can tell you get solved. Start using a derivation scheme. Let's call user cursor. Okay. And when onTextChanged is called, and there's actually a cursor position. And when it's called when I'm not in the mode of adding the mask, remember this code over here, this guard? So it's already passing in cursor position. This might work, it might not though. User cursor. What's going on here? Okay. All right, now, I literally don't know if that code's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work in the test or the application. I care mostly about the application working, right? So we should check that. When I feel that something might not work, it's important to discover that sooner rather than later. All right, let's see what happens. This could be exciting. 1. Cursor position 0. All right, cursor position stayed at 0. Let's see what's going on. All right, before text change, we'll be at 0. On text change, count of characters added. That cursor position, I'm not sure what that is. So that didn't work. Let's go look at this. On text change. Might have to leave the show on a cliffhanger today. Okay, this is in text watcher. Where did I say that? Here it is. So on text changed. So before is called, and it's telling us, hey, they're going to add something. I think that's where I'm going to change it to. I'm going to move this. And I know our unit test isn't doing any activity about some of these, so we're going to have to rethink that too. Before text change. And cursor position is still 0. Count of characters added. So let's just handle the case of where we're adding characters. All right, so if I'm writing them one at a time. Okay, we're going to increment. And we haven't written any tests for deleting. You can imagine that's going to be a thing too. All right, let's run this. All right, updated cursor position correctly. I don't expect it to go any further than that. Okay, so it looks like deleting's got to be a whole another set of logic. All right, so whenever a character is added, we will increment cursor position. That's how we know when we've added something. Remember, we talked about we need a protocol that knows when we add something, and we need a protocol that knows when we delete something. I hit delete a few times here. Let's just take a peek. What did that look like? Though I closed the IDE, let's see, or the simulator. Do we have cursor position, replace, all right? See that? We got replace. So in the future, we'll have to handle that too. Oh, fun. Okay, now, let's see if I can get the text edit working, and then we can shut down the show. And then we're going to have to clean up our design again. This is alphanumerics going to be a bit of work. All right, so not surprisingly, it still failed because we got some work to do. After text change on enters a single digit, now is set to 0. Expected 1. Let's think about why that is. That is because we called after text change, but we haven't done the act of before text change. Watcher. Is that right? Let me think about this before I go too far here. This is going to call watcher.getSelection and getSelection and is going to go into the mock object. Back up on this IDE. use Alt butterfly backspace. Okay. It doesn't work. Or maybe it means arrow? Oh, butterfly, not backspace, arrow. Okay. Forward, back. Okay. Yes, I'm definitely getting beat up or tired here. So single digits added. Oh yeah, so this watcher is an SSN watcher with this fly that keeps attacking me. That took a field mock object. Oh yeah, so it's gonna have a, it's gonna manage all those things too in the mock object. All right, I think it's okay. I mean, okay, watcher dot before. So because we're now relying on the before function to handle the cursor updating, we need to like work with it now, which is gonna make me update all these tests to use that. So character sequence is gonna be text box. Cursor position 0. I don't really remember why. I think it's that one I'm not very clear on. Number of characters replaced 0. Number of characters add. Oops. 0 here. 1. Okay. Now that should get the cursor position updated. And the test might pass if my mock object's doing the right thing, and I don't know if it is. So let's just run it, find out, let the computer tell us if the mock object's doing the right thing. It looks like it is not. Nope, it is doing the right thing. Sweet. All right, now we gotta do the same thing here. It's a nice thing about unit tests is you can sit here and mull about it, like, will it work, will it work? We just run it, let's see what happens. All right, now it's got 1 and 2. Now, that means the cursor position's been updated twice. So I have to tell it that it's updated twice. So I'm gonna have to call it twice. I have to simulate the activity that it's the user input twice. I gotta learn cursor position. I don't know why that's always 0. Now, I have a decision here. I either need to handle calling it singularly twice, or I gotta put in a 2 here and change my logic to handle that. So I'm guessing if the user types in really, really fast, maybe, or if they paste in something, they will get a 2. But my logic won't make that work. Let's run the test, let it fail, and then we'll make the logic work. We'll change the logic to handle that case. Okay, and it was still expected to, but was actually 0. Expected to be 1. I don't know why it's 0. Probably because of my logic is equals to 1. Ah. Oh, yeah. Anyways, there we are. Test is telling me go fix it. Well, I'm going to go fix it. Notice I have equals to 1. So if characters added is greater than, so I'm adding greater than 0, so I'm adding. Then we add that to the cursor, I think, directly. It's equal to Okay. So, let's see what happens here. Boom! All the tests passed. Bwah! Does the logic still work? At least work as well as we've implemented it. Oops, run the wrong one. 31 milliseconds to run those unit tests. Sweet. Oh, I think I tapped that button by accident again. Davey, let's go see. All right, don't treat me rough, Davey. I'm ready to sign off. Let's see. 1, nice. Put the cursor in the right spot. 2, it's keeping the cursor in the right spot, isn't it? Now I want to see what happens if I like. Okay, now if I go back here, is it actually? Yeah, I know I got a big mess. My masking logic is garbage. I want to see what the added count of characters added was 8. 1, 1, 8. So you can add multiple characters when you hold down the repeat button. Oh, there we are. And now, I guess my logic supports that. I don't think I have a scenario that calls that out directly, but well, yeah, I guess this could be the scenario. The user hit 1, 2 so fast that the messages didn't get sent out as fast as the user entered it. So another cool thing is, let's try something else. What if I copy and then I paste what other torturous things have we done? Look at that, characters added 42. So if you do a copy paste, this can happen. So if you copy the social security number from an email and then you paste it into that field, yeah, that's the case how you can have that count be greater. Now position looks like it is set to, wow, 432. I bet it's at the end. Where's position at in the phone? If I move position to here, I don't know how to get back home. Oh, that was not the right button to hit. Yeah, it's funny, folks. I'm not an Android user, so I actually have a lot of trouble with the simulator. Swipe up. Oh, there it is. And what, tap? And then text edit. Get back in there. Come on, baby. Okay, so we can get this all the way over there. Now, it doesn't know I pressed the cursor key, right? But if I enter in one thing, oops, select. Oh, I don't think it did the right thing. Oops. Oh, it did, add it. It just reset the cursor to where it believes I'm at in the mask. All right, I think it's okay. We're just doing a little playing around here. I'm happy the unit test passed. We're going to shut down the show here in moments. I just want to, while I have it all up, I want to learn something. Cursor position is 432. I just recently added 1 character. What the heck's going on here? Where's my... All right, let me clear this. That didn't work. I mean, I don't see what I expected to see, so let me try it again. Okay, so my cursor position's at the front, right? If I type in 9, select the phone first. I type 9. Seems to be shoving it to that side because my cursor position's all off. It doesn't understand the difference between the mask and the not mask. Now I want to learn what this has. So this has a long hoo-ha string. Number of characters added is 1. Good. Cursor position is 0 because that's where the cursor was. And then, so I'm learning and exploring what cursor position does. And then I have logic in there that's going to reset the cursor position. And I suppose it's updating and adding onto the mask. Yeah, see the mask is, this is where the mask was. Now it added another mask's gone wild. Good for Halloween. Halloween mask. The cursor position is 441. So that cursor position is where the cursor is according to where the user put the cursor when they hit enter, or hit the button. If they have the cursor at the front, it'll be at the front. If they have the cursor at the end, it's at the end. If I'm adding mask and I'm resetting the cursor so I can add mask at the end, it goes there. All right, I think I learned a ton today, folks. Let's go start closing out the show. What episode are we up to, David? Well, he says, look at your comments. 44. 44. Cursor position. Cursor position in the text watcher API represents where the cursor was when the user entered data. I could say possible new design to add logic for mask and add delete. Did I really learn that? Well, we're going to give that a shot. I don't know if we're going to add a new class, though. Try to keep our classes small and tidy. Yeah. Okay. What was number 1? Right at the beginning of the show, did I learn anything? Do you remember, folks? I'm looking over at the LinkedIn. Well, I learned how to hit post on LinkedIn. So I can chat with all my fans. All right, fans, friends. I think our friends are, fans is like a different kind of level of friends, I guess. I think there was something else I learned too. It was about, in the main activity, we learned, okay, yeah. So we use string builder. Modify, mutable. Okay, or you have to use my string builder. Something else happened. I don't know what it is. I guess that's good enough. I feel I ran a few, yeah. articles. Nice to drop these in here. And how to set cursor. We learned how to set cursor position, though I think I learned that in a previous show. We just didn't get to do it. So it's all there now. Okay. All right. I think that's a good show, folks. Let's go ahead and X out, David. You ready, David? Are we ready to X out? Here we go. Move that arm. This arm. Where? Okay, I can hold my mic. You hold the margarita. And now we X out. Is that our new thing now? You're still holding the margarita. You're still holding the pina colada, David. You're still holding the pina colada. Stop it. Put it down. You'll get a